having your own secret road, or a train that looks normal outside but is like a palace inside. Well, for Vladimir Putin, the president of Russia, this isn't make-believe, it's real life. First, let's talk about Putin's car. Forget about regular cars. Putin's ride is like something from a spy movie. It's called the Aurus Senate, and it's not your average set of wheels. This car is so tough it can stop bullets and survive explosions. It's even safe from poison gas. Inside, it's super fancy with soft leather seats and a mini fridge. But the coolest part? There's a secret door at the back for quick escapes. James Bond would be jealous. But wait, there's more. Putin doesn't just have one awesome car. He has a whole bunch of them. There's one his mom gave him, and a tough off-road car for when he wants to feel like a regular guy. Maybe he uses it to go bear spotting. Who knows? Now, here's something really crazy. When Putin drives around Moscow, he doesn't use normal roads like we do. He has his very own road that nobody else can use. Imagine having your own private street to school. No more traffic jams. When Putin does use regular roads, it's quite a sight. He doesn't just have one car, he has about 20. Some of these cars are full of tough guys with big guns. They're ready for anything. They even have rocket launchers. It's like a mini army moving through the city. But cars aren't the only way Putin gets around. He also has his own train. From the outside, it looks like a normal train. But inside, it's like a 5-star hotel on wheels. It has rooms that can stop bullets, fancy bedrooms, and even a special car just for making important phone calls. This train costs more than most of us will see in our whole lives. Sometimes, Putin needs to get somewhere fast. That's when he uses his helicopter. It's called an Mi-8, and it's like the Russian version of the helicopter the US president uses. It has square windows instead of round ones, and inside it's super comfy. It even has a bathroom. It's like a flying living room. Now let's talk about how Putin travels to other countries. This is where things get really wild. 2 weeks before Putin visits a place, he sends a team to check everything out. They choose the fanciest hotel in town and make sure it's safe. When Putin arrives, the whole hotel is just for him and his team. All the regular staff get a vacation, and Putin brings his own cooks, cleaners, and guards. Why? Well, Putin used to be a spy, so he's extra careful about security. Speaking of being careful, Putin is super picky about what he eats when he's traveling. He has special food testers who check everything before he eats it. But these aren't just regular people taking a bite. They're scientists who test the food in a special laboratory. It's like having your own team of food detectives. Now, let's talk about Putin's favorite way to travel, his private jet. And get this, he doesn't just have one, he has 3. These planes are called Ilyushin Il-96 300PU, and they're super fancy. Each one costs about $716 million. Inside these planes, it's like a flying palace. There's a big bedroom, a bathroom with golden taps, and even a gym where Putin can exercise. The furniture is made from special wood, and there's gold and silver everywhere. It's fancier than most people's houses. But it's not all about looking good. These planes are also like flying offices. They have special internet connections and lots of phones, so Putin can always talk to important people. There's even a room for video calls. It's like Putin's office in the sky. Now, you might think Putin is all work and no play, but that's not true. He also likes to relax sometimes, and when he does, he has some pretty amazing options. Putin owns at least 4 huge boats called yachts. His favorite is called Graceful, and it cost about $100 mess. That's not just a boat, that's a floating mansion. This yacht is like a floating hotel. It has room for 14 people to sleep comfortably, and it even has a place for a helicopter to land. Another of his yachts, called Olympia, was a gift from a very rich friend. It has a fancy office on board because, remember, Putin likes to work all the time. But the most mind-blowing yacht is one called Scheherazade. Putin spent a crazy amount of money on it, more than some countries spend on their whole navy. Nobody knows exactly what's inside because it's top secret, but it must be pretty incredible. Maybe it has an underwater zoo or a room where you can talk to dolphins. So as you can see, Vladimir Putin's way of traveling is completely bonkers. He has bulletproof cars, private trains, fancy helicopters, and even secret yachts. It's all to keep him safe and comfortable while he does his job as president. But here's a funny thing to think about. With all these crazy ways of getting around, do you think Putin ever just wants to ride a bicycle or take a regular bus? Imagine seeing the Russian president waiting at a bus stop or riding a bike down the street. That would be quite a sight. Now you might be wondering why Putin needs all this fancy and secret stuff. Well, being the president of a big country like Russia is a really important job. There are people who might want to hurt him, so he has to be extra careful. Plus, he needs to be able to work and make important decisions no matter where he is. But it's also important to remember that not all leaders travel like this. In some countries, presidents or prime ministers might use regular planes or cars, with just a little extra security. They might even be seen walking down the street or shopping in a store. But here's something to think about. Even with all his fancy ways of traveling, do you think Putin is happier than someone who can just hop on a bike and ride wherever they want? Sometimes the simplest things can be the most fun. In the end, Putin's way of traveling is pretty amazing, but it also means he can't do a lot of normal things. He can't just decide to go for a walk in the park or pop into a shop to buy an ice cream. Everything has to be planned and checked for safety. So, while it might seem cool to have your own private jet and yacht, remember that there's something special about being able to explore the world freely. The next time you're on a regular old bus or in a car with your family, think about how lucky you are to be able to look out the window and see the world go by without any worries. And who knows, maybe one day you'll invent an even cooler way to travel. Perhaps a teleporter that can zap you anywhere in the world in a second. Now that would be something even Vladimir Putin would be jealous of. So there you have it, the insane way Vladimir Putin travels without anyone knowing. It's a world of secret roads, bulletproof trains, and golden airplanes. Pretty crazy, right? But remember, no matter how you travel, the most important thing is the adventures you have and the people you meet along the way.